What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you guys are stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel. And while you guys are at it, go ahead and smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. Well, guys, the Fed has released multiple warnings over the last 18 months, and we are certainly seeing the pain. And Samsung, among all companies, is seeing some of the most dramatic effects. Now, we haven't heard tremendous numbers of layoffs coming out of the Samsung, but Samsung, we're seeing reports that there is 95% reduction in profits. Now, this is huge. But in spite of all of these reports, the stock market continues to head higher. We are seeing the Dow Jones today up 272 points. We're at 34,000, almost 34,100 points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. S&P 500 is up almost a full percent point today at 4,169, and the Nasdaq is up to 12,226. Now, in spite of all of this bad news that we're hearing in the market, recessions, hundreds of thousands of people being laid off, the dollar is at risk of losing its global reserve currency status. There is, we're seeing some of the highest mortgage interest rates that we've seen in real estate, in the housing market in the past 10 years, probably in the last 15 years, now that I think about it. But in spite of all of this, people are still buying homes. Don't let the media fool you. People are still buying homes. People are still swiping credit cards and finding ways to buy stuff, but it's slowing down. We are definitely seeing that slow down. Now, the thing is we got to be prepared, though. These collapses, they don't happen overnight, and so we have to be aware of what is coming down the pipeline. Now, hopefully you have an emergency fund. They always say you don't want to fight the Fed. And for the most part, I would agree with that. But when you say you don't want to fight the Fed, this doesn't mean that you just crawl up in a hole and you kind of wait for the storm to pass. But you got to be real strategic during these times. You certainly don't want to be one of those people caught in the storm of layoffs and you don't have your financial household in order. So the very first thing I would make sure that I'm doing is I would make sure that I have a emergency fund. That is the very first thing that I would be doing. But a lot of people have been hitting me up lately because they're anticipating what is to come. How do you strategically position yourself for what's coming down the pipeline? How can I invest $500? Like, what's the best way for me to invest $500 today? Now, most people are probably thinking, all right, if I only have $500 to invest, should I invest in stocks? Should I invest in ETFs? Should I invest in index funds? Your Vanguard, your Charles Schwab, S&P 500 index ETFs, your iShares. Should I invest in cryptocurrency? Should I, reduce debt? Should I pay off debt? Well, all of these are decent ideas. And obviously, it depends on your own personal financial situation. Not everybody is at this moment in the same spot. Some people who are deeply in debt, especially if it's high interest credit card debt or high interest debt, period, debt that's not paying you, considering to take that $500 and paying down that debt that's costing you money every single month might be a great idea. But at the same time, if that's your only $500, then maybe you want to put that toward an emergency fund. But, there's a proper order that I would definitely want to tackle things. How stable is your job? Now, me personally, if I had an extra $500 a month and I was trying to understand the best way to utilize that capital, that extra $500 a month, one of the first things that I would be doing, first and foremost, is I would make sure to establish my emergency fund. That's first and foremost. The next thing I would be looking to do is to eliminate any type of high interest debt that I have. And I would want to speed that process up as soon as possible, because the longer you're carrying that thing, the longer you're paying the banks. And the banks are straight. They don't need your extra $500. They don't need your extra money. They can get it from somebody else. If you guys are, following this channel, you guys know it's all about reaching some degree of financial freedom. And for me, financial freedom is the ability to be able to retire from working at any given point in time. Now, for me, I don't really want to retire, so to speak. I'm not one to sit on my butt and do nothing. I like to engage in business. I like to build and create. So for me, retirement doesn't look like the traditional sense of retirement that most people would have in mind. A lot of people, when they retire, they picture lounging on the beach, which I do, but I just won't do that every single day. Lounging on the beach, pretty much doing nothing. I would say, just inactivity. And I'm just not down for inactivity. $500 a month, though. Where would I put my $500 a month to get the best return? Well, first and foremost, your income is always going to be your greatest wealth building tool. Your income is always going to be your greatest wealth building generator. Your income is always going to be the greatest. The bigger your income is, the bigger the shovel that you'll have to climb out of debt. So one of the things I'd be using my $500 a month for is to build a means of increasing my income. So I might take $500 and invest in something, some type of course or education that would increase my skill set so that I can increase my earning capabilities. The greater your earning capacity is, the faster you can get out of debt. The higher your income is, the faster you can build a investment brokerage account. Think about it. How fast can you compound your money? Now, if you're compounding your money at a rate of, say, 10%, if we look at the S&P 500 over the last 10 to 15, 30 years, let's go even farther than that. If we look at the S&P 500 over the last 50 years, 100 years, the S&P 500 has returned somewhere between 10 and 12%. So how do you grow your money investing in the S&P 500 at a faster clip? Well, you got to put more time in. And since you can't have started 20 years before when you actually started investing, the only knob that you can adjust is the amount of money that you can contribute to it. So how do you contribute more? Well, you increase your income and you reduce your expenses. See, a lot of people today, they increase their income. Well, actually, a lot of people today, they just increase their expenses. They don't really do much of anything else. And I know it's not easy, but it's also not impossible. But if we just kind of buckle down a little bit, increase our income and decrease our expenses at the same time, you would be surprised at how quickly you can compound your money and get closer and closer to reaching financial freedom. And so when layoffs come, when recessions come, you're almost insulated from the storm. And lots of the traditional worries that most Americans are dealing with are no longer even relevant to you for the most part. So, I'd be taking $500 and looking at what kind of businesses can I start to create or multiply that $500, right? Ideally, businesses that could be semi-automated, if not fully automated. I'd be looking at what types of skills, licenses, courses, certifications that I could purchase, which are ultimately investments in my earning capacity so that I could earn more money going into the future. So these are some of the baselines that I would be considering in terms of how I would invest $500 in 2023. Now, regardless of how bad our economy gets here in the United States, and as a matter of fact, in terms of our global economy, regardless of how bad things get, things will get better. And I know that sometimes it seems like, it's all doom and gloom. But I guarantee, if you guys pay attention, there are still buildings being built. There are still homes being built. And these corporations are still spending money. And don't let them fool you. They're laying people off, but they're also buying stocks back. There's stock buybacks being taking place by, Fortune 500 companies all day long. So why would a company buy back their own stock if they didn't have any faith in the future of the business? Got to pay attention to what's happening, folks. So I would take this opportunity to really just kind of focus and hone in and just say to myself, where do I want to see myself in the next 5 to 10, 15 years? Do I want to be in this current situation? And if your current situation is good, then great. If your current situation could be improved, start writing down ways that you would like to see your situation improve, and then begin to take action. So, and some of the simplest ways to invest, you can always invest in the stock market. But the stock market, I want you guys to understand, is not the only way that you can invest. And it is not necessarily the greatest return for your money. Me personally, I've always found that the greatest return for my money is by investing in myself and investing in businesses that I control. So, aside from real estate investments, aside from, of course, there's a lot of people who are investing in real estate and listing their property. Of course, there's a lot of people investing in real estate and listing their properties on Airbnb. Some of these people are, they're starting to have a little bit of a tough time here. As we head into this recession, later in 2023, we're going to see exactly where people are spending their money. And chances are they're going to spend a lot less in vacationing. And it's not going to affect everyone. Some people are going to continue on. They're going to spend the way they've been spending. But I'm seeing more and more properties sitting on Airbnb with more vacancies than what they would traditionally see. Now, this is a combination of more Airbnb properties hitting the market, so there's more inventory, but there's also fewer people looking to travel, and the people looking to travel are probably looking to spend a little bit less than they did last year. So we are likely to see more of these properties hit the market. Now, this could certainly open up the doors to seeing greater deals, better discounts on real estate, but it's all about preparation. So we want to make sure we have powder. We want to have dry powder ready to go for when opportunities present themselves. So, yes, we can invest in real estate. Yes, we can invest in the stock market. You've got online brokerages such as E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab. In fact, I think TD Ameritrade is being bought out by Charles Schwab or vice versa. I'm gonna have to look into that. I got an email the other day from TD Ameritrade mentioning that I need to log in on Charles Schwab, something like that. I'm gonna have to double check on that one. I think there might have been some type of a merger or acquisition that may have taken place recently. But yeah, I mean, you got all these different platforms, Webull, Robinhood, so many different online brokerages that makes investing in the stock market very easy. So we really have no excuse except for deciding that we want to improve our own situation. So drop me some comments, you guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know how you would invest $500. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all be safe.